could get a couple of volunteers to go out there and get them if anybody needs them. Typically with the village board meeting, we don't have this large of a crowd. Maybe shame on me for not expecting that we might get one, but nonetheless we were still holding this here. Typically we have public comments right at the beginning, so anybody that has something to say relative to public comments, we'll entertain that tonight. We don't go through our meeting and then do that later. And if we have to stay here as long as people want to speak, I don't know if the board wants me to say this, but I'll try to entertain you as much as anybody wants to say something. So I'm going to make the assumption at this point that under this public comment period that a number of people here would like to address the board. And so at this time I'll entertain anybody that wants to address the board under this public comment period, and try to keep it to 3 to 4 minutes if that's acceptable. I'm not sure if everybody here wants to speak, but you're entitled to. I would ask you to address the board, and if you're going to come up here and say something, just let Trish know your name and address, if you would. What else should I be saying? I guess that's pretty much it. Just try to make sure you address the board. We don't want to get into a debate tonight about the issues before us. It wasn't on our schedule, just so you know, that the way this is operating for the village anyway, is the planning board is going to come back to the village with a recommendation. I expect that hopefully in the next week. Based on that recommendation, the village board will then discuss the moratorium. That's what's being discussed in general. At that point in time, if the board decides to go forward with a moratorium, that would be done in a proposal. The proposal then would be approved by the board, if that were the decision. It would then leave us to schedule a public hearing, which would probably occur sometime in, well, you'd have to go through the notice period, as I'm sure most people here know. Whatever that period would be, we would schedule a public hearing sometime in September. I'm sure that's where it would occur. Whether I can do it concurrently or it has to be done separately, any moratorium that we would be considering within the village also has to undergo the county. We would send it to the county for review. They have 30 days, probably longer than 30 days in certain circumstances. And at the end of that time, after the public hearing, after the county review, any final determination by the village to enact a moratorium would occur at that point. So that's my understanding of the time frame that we will be following. And at this time, anybody wants to speak, do it in an orderly way if you would.